From the moment we're born, we start absorbing the world around us. We learn what's acceptable, what's expected, and how to fit into a system that shapes us without our awareness. In doing so, we lose something crucial: our connection to our true self, the essence deep within our psyche. Carl Jung devoted his life to exploring this mystery, deciphering the hidden language of the unconscious, and teaching us that if we truly love ourselves, we must not accept less than we genuinely deserve. How often have you found yourself in situations that seem normal on the surface, but leave you feeling drained? Perhaps you've been in a relationship where you give more than you receive, or a job that doesn't fulfill you, yet you stay out of fear of change, or you're surrounded by people who dim your light instead of lifting you up. Why do we allow this? Jung would say the answer lies in the shadow, the hidden part of ourselves we prefer not to acknowledge. From an early age, we're taught to suppress emotions and conform to molds that don't always reflect who we truly are. We become what we think others want to see, but what we repress doesn't vanish. It hides within our shadow and shows up in unexpected ways, in poor choices, toxic relationships, and repetitive patterns that trap us without us realizing why. What we refuse to confront within ourselves will encounter externally, disguised as fate. Even though we say we want love, success, or happiness, we often find ourselves stuck in situations that push us further from those desires. Deep down, a part of us still doesn't believe we deserve them. True transformation happens when we dare to look inward, stop seeking answers outside ourselves, and begin understanding our inner world at its core. Jung taught us that our unconscious mind isn't our enemy. It's a messenger. Everything we experience externally reflects what happens within us. If we continue accepting less than we deserve, it's because a part of us still doubts, fears, and hasn't realized its true worth. Now, imagine waking up one day to discover that everything you've been searching for externally has always been within you, that you don't need validation from others, and that you're already enough. But imagining isn't enough. You must experience it. That experience begins with a decision to know yourself, to face your shadow, and to stop accepting less. When you choose to love yourself, everything changes, not magically, but because your actions start coming from a different place. You stop settling for superficial connections because now you know you deserve depth. You quit tolerating unfulfilling jobs because you realize your purpose is greater. You stop justifying mistreatment because you've discovered your own worth. But this journey is challenging. Jung warned that individuation, the quest for your true self, demands courage. Not everyone is willing to undertake it, as it involves letting go of who we thought we were and daring to find out who we truly are. It means leaving behind old beliefs, confronting fears, and questioning everything we've been taught. Many choose to stay within the familiar, even if it means suffering, because the unknown is daunting. The real question is, how much longer will you accept less? How often will you justify what deep down you know isn't right for you? How long will you ignore that inner voice telling you there is more? Life doesn't wait for someone to grant you permission to live as you deserve. There's no perfect moment, no divine sign to tell you when to change. The only sign you need is already within you. It's that discomfort, that feeling something isn't quite right, that longing for more. Don't ignore it. It's your unconscious guiding you toward your true path. When you decide to listen to yourself and dare to release what no longer resonates, something extraordinary happens. Things start falling into place. The right people arrive, and opportunities appear. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You finally understand that if you love yourself, you can't accept less. And this is just the beginning. When you recognize your own worth, the dynamics of your life shift. You no longer operate from a place of need, but from choice. Jung taught us that many relationships and circumstances mirror what remains unhealed within us. If you spent your life accepting less, it's because a part of you believes that's all you can hope for. But here's the truth. That belief isn't real. It's just a story you've learned, a program installed in your mind through past experiences, inherited beliefs, or fear of loneliness. The unconscious mind is powerful, acting like a magnet, drawing situations that reinforce our beliefs. If you believe you're not enough, you'll attract people who make you feel inadequate. If you believe love is painful, you'll unconsciously seek relationships that confirm that belief. This is why so many remain trapped in never-ending patterns. They change partners, jobs, even cities, but the same problems resurface because the root of the issue isn't outside, it's within. What you don't heal, confront, or integrate into your psyche will continue to manifest in various forms until you finally understand it. Awakening to this truth isn't always easy. You'll often feel tempted to return to what's familiar, as uncertainty can be terrifying. Your mind may try to convince you that it's better to stick with the devil you know than the angel you don't. But that's the greatest illusion. The comfort zone isn't safe. It's a place of stagnation disguised as stability. The longer you stay, the more you delay the life you were meant to live. Carl Jung emphasized shadow integration as essential to living a full, authentic life. The shadow includes all aspects of yourself that you've repressed or hidden because you believed they were unacceptable. Often, accepting less than you deserve is a manifestation of that shadow, allowing limiting beliefs to dictate your life instead of confronting and transforming them. This is where the real work begins. The key isn't in changing others, expecting better treatment from the world, or forcing someone to recognize your worth. It's in doing the internal work, questioning your beliefs, honestly observing your patterns, and exploring the roots of your fears. When you engage in self-exploration, something shifts within you. As you change internally, everything around you changes too. Your relationships evolve. You stop chasing emotionally unavailable people because you no longer seek external validation. Places you once tried to fit in feel foreign as your sense of self no longer relies on external acceptance. You move with greater confidence, making decisions rooted in self-love rather than fear. Here's where something fascinating happens. Jung spoke of synchronicity, where meaningful events align almost magically when we are in harmony with our true selves. When you honor and respect yourself, treating yourself with the dignity you deserve, the universe responds. Opportunities arise, connections shift, and new paths open, not because they weren't there before, but because you're now able to recognize and receive them. Many people wait for external proof before committing to their inner transformation. They wait for the world to validate them before trusting their worth. But change starts with you. Believe in yourself first. Choose yourself first. Give yourself what you need first. Then the world reflects that transformation from the inside out. This process isn't instant or linear. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress, while on others, doubts may creep in. At times, the comfort of the familiar may tempt you, and the discomfort of growth might make you consider settling for what you already know. But whenever doubt arises, remember this. Self-love isn't a destination, it's a practice. It's not something that just happens. It's a choice you make every day. Adopting this perspective transforms your life. The change isn't immediate in your circumstances, but in how you engage with them. As you embrace genuine self-love, you start noticing something interesting. The people and situations you once tolerated now seem unbearable. What you used to excuse now becomes clear. What you once justified is now seen for what it truly is. This isn't because the world has changed, but because you have. This realization often presents a critical test. When you see you've accepted less than you deserve, you're faced with a choice. Stay on the same path out of fear, or take a chance on yourself, even if it means leaving behind what no longer suits you. Letting go isn't always easy. Carl Jung once said that the human psyche clings to the familiar, because change represents the unknown, which awakens our deepest fears. But here's a truth seldom shared. Nothing truly valuable will enter your life while you hold on to what no longer belongs to you. Take a moment to reflect. Look at your relationships, surroundings, and lifestyle. Ask yourself honestly, does this reflect who I truly am? Am I at peace? Or am I constantly battling something I know isn't right for me? It's easy to fall into habitual comfort and predictability. But clinging to what no longer resonates will only leave you stuck in a life that isn't truly yours. Life constantly sends you signs, indications that something needs to change. A draining relationship, a burdensome job, or a social circle that no longer aligns with you. But these signs mean nothing if you ignore them. Your unconscious is always communicating with you. Every time you feel drained after being with someone, every time your intuition suggests a place isn't right for you, every time something inside feels unsettled, it's your psyche trying to guide you. The real question is, are you willing to listen? Jung taught us that becoming your truest self requires moving through solitude, uncertainty, and doubt. As you let go of what you are not, you'll encounter an empty space before finding what truly belongs to you. Many people hesitate to face that emptiness, preferring the familiar, even if harmful. But the void isn't your enemy. It's a sacred space welcoming the new. It's the bridge from your current life to the one you truly desire, an opportunity to rebuild free of past limitations. When you decide to let go, something incredible happens. Your energy shifts, your mind clears, and you attract situations that once seemed impossible, not because they were, but because you were too busy clinging to what wasn't truly yours. The universe responds to those with the courage to align with their truth. To reach that point, ask yourself, what part of me fears letting go? Every attachment has a story, a belief convincing you to hold on. Maybe you think leaving a relationship means you'll never find better, or quitting a job means no new opportunities. Perhaps distancing from a certain people feels like ending up alone. But here's the truth. You can't lose what's truly meant for you. What's yours will never leave, and what leaves was never yours to begin with. They were lessons, chapters that needed to end for new ones to begin. Life is about flowing, not clinging. To flow, trust that when one door closes, a better one will open, revealed only when you bravely release what no longer resonates with you. Look within and see where you've settled for less. Ask yourself, if I truly loved myself, what would I release today? Letting go of what no longer aligns with you results in an irreversible internal shift. This isn't a superficial decision, but a profound transformation in how you relate to yourself and the world. Not everyone will embrace this change. Some will doubt you, saying you're overreacting, being selfish, or should settle not to harm you, but because your growth disrupts their comfort. Carl Jung taught that awakening often threatens those not ready for it. Many retreat at this point, feeling environmental pressure, fear of loneliness, and uncertainty about what's next. Remember something fundamental. The path to your true self is not meant to be understood by everyone. You cannot expect others to see what you see or validate your journey. It is yours alone. Often, the biggest obstacle is not fear of the future, but resistance to letting go of the past. We cling to relationships that no longer nurture us because it's hard to accept that some connections have an expiration date. We hold on to unfulfilling jobs because fear of the unknown paralyzes us. We remain attached to outdated identities because we've built our lives around them. But none of these define who you are. You are not your past, your mistakes, or the stories others tell about you. Jung reminded us that true identity lies deep within the unconscious, and only when you courageously explore your shadow do you discover your true self. When you start living from that authenticity, the world reacts. Not because you've changed outwardly, but because your energy has transformed. You no longer vibrate with lack, fear, or the need for approval. When that happens, doors that once seemed closed begin to open, not because you're forcing them, but because you're in harmony with yourself. That's when real magic happens. That's where synchronicities appear. Opportunities arise effortlessly, and the right people enter your life without chasing them. Abundance is not pursued, it's attracted when you're aligned with your truth. To reach this state, a price must be paid not in sacrifice, but in letting go of everything you are not. Let go of limiting beliefs, unfulfilling relationships, and fears that hold you back. This price is one many are unwilling to pay because it demands brutal honesty with oneself. You must look in the mirror and ask uncomfortable questions. Ask why you're still in a place not meant for you. Ask what part of you sabotages your growth. Ask what stories you've told yourself that make you settle for less than you deserve. There are no shortcuts, no magic formulas, or instant solutions. There's only one undeniable truth. If you truly love yourself, you can't keep living in complacency. You can't betray the part of you that hasn't realized its worth. But that can change right now. Awakening doesn't happen in the distant future. It happens the moment you decide to see the truth and act on it. You don't need to wait for external confirmation to know it's time for a change. You don't need anyone else's approval or more signs. The only sign you need is already within you. It's that feeling of discomfort, that longing for more, that quiet certainty that you were meant for something greater. True self-love goes beyond superficial self-esteem. It's the bold decision to align with your true self without compromise, excuses, or fear. This is the most powerful expression of freedom, and when you make this choice, life responds in kind. As you start aligning with your true self, You realize self-love is not just a nice idea. It's a transformative force. It's not a fleeting emotion or a mantra in the mirror. It's a personal revolution that changes how you think, speak, decide, and act. In this process, you begin to see clearly. Situations you once justified become unbearable. Treatment you used to tolerate now seems unacceptable. For the first time, you see reality without filters, which can be uncomfortable, as it forces you to acknowledge how often you've settled for less than you deserve. You can't change what you don't see, and once you see it, you can't ignore it. Carl Jung said, "Individuation is like waking from a deep sleep. Initially, the light is blinding and uncomfortable, but once your eyes adjust, you never want to return to darkness." This is where many people get stuck. They see the truth, but don't know what to do with it. They realize they're trapped in limiting patterns, draining relationships, and spirit-dulling jobs. Yet, fear of the unknown paralyzes them because the old, while unhelpful, is familiar. Here lies the great test. Do you move forward into the unknown or cling to what you know? Do you trust that letting go will create space for something better? Or do you stay with what feels safe at the cost of your peace? Self-love is not just recognizing your worth, it's acting in alignment with it. Every time you settle for less, you signal to the universe what you believe you deserve, and the universe responds to the frequency you emit. If you keep surrounding yourself with people who don't value you, if you stay in situations that drain your energy, if you let your essence fade into things that don't nourish you, it's because deep down you unconsciously believe this is normal. But normal isn't always right. Jung taught that the unconscious clearly shows us what needs healing through repeating patterns, endless cycles, and relationships that always end the same way, not because life is against you, but because your psyche is trying to teach you something. Each recurring situation invites you to look inward. What are you tolerating that you shouldn't? Where are you silencing your true self? In what areas are you accepting less than you desire? The external world reflects your internal world. You can't expect respect from others if you don't respect yourself first. You can't expect to be valued if you haven't learned to value yourself. You can't expect real love if you settle for less. But when you truly love yourself in actions, not just words, everything shifts. You start setting boundaries without guilt. You learn to say no without fearing loss of approval. You see solitude as a sacred space to reconnect with yourself. Then something incredible happens. The universe responds. When you change your energy, everything not aligned with your new vibration fades away. It might be painful, but it's necessary. Self-love isn't just about attracting good things. It's about courageously releasing what's not meant for you. In letting go, true transformation begins. When you release what doesn't resonate with you and stop settling for less, something inside you changes irreversibly. You're no longer the same person. You can't accept unfair treatment, ignore your intuition, or dim your light to fit in. But here lies the greatest challenge: uncertainty. Letting go leaves an empty space and requires trusting that something better will come, even if you can't see it yet. That demands a level of faith and self-trust that few develop. Jung taught that the unconscious works with symbolism and synchronicity. When you finally choose yourself and act in line with your true worth, life responds in unimaginable ways. Opportunities that seemed impossible appear, and people who truly resonate with you start showing up. What once felt like a struggle now flows naturally. But it's not magic. It's alignment. It's the creation of a new reality based on a fresh perception of yourself. The external world will always mirror what's happening inside you. So if letting go is still difficult, ask yourself this: how would my life change if I truly believed I am enough? What choices would I make if I weren't afraid of being alone? What would I do differently if I knew the universe always supports me? Self-love is not a destination. It's a journey. It's a daily commitment to yourself, a decision to never settle for less than you deserve. And it's a journey where you are not alone. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to join this community. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below and tell me what part touched your heart. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss upcoming videos. Together, we can create a space where knowledge and reflection become tools for transformation. Every time you engage with this content, you help it reach more people who need this message. Remember, change starts with you. Today, you have the opportunity to take that first step. See you in the next video.